Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this session where we discuss the future of assessments in India. This, in the present context, where there is a challenge on employment and employability, is a very pertinent topic to discuss, and the way this is going forward in the future. India is going to have the largest graduate population in 3 or 4 years, and maybe the youngest population in a few years from now. So it is in this context that the future of assessments and how we assess the test candidate become very relevant and pertinent for the discussion. All of us have gone through a number of assessments through our lives, be it in schools and colleges. There is a diagnostic assessment, there is formative assessment, there is summative assessments. It either tests some kind of a competence, a professional proficiency, a skill, or a knowledge-based trait that we need to work with. Most of these assessments work largely on the Bloom's taxonomy, which continues to be the nodal point for all assessments to be constructed. Now, the diagnostic, the formative, and the assessments can measure both the knowledge, which is the cognition part. It can look at knowledge, comprehension, analysis, synthesis, all of that. But most assessments don't look at the affective part or the sensory part. The affective part is more to do with the action-oriented, and the sensory with the emotion-oriented part. We don't have most of the assessment, and that is what is going to change when we look at the future in a little while. The other important thing is that the assessments are not related to just students. There are working professionals, others who go through a number of assessments, be it admission tests, certification exams, be it even licensing exams to practice in many cases. The interesting part, which is changing, is that test companies are under constant pressure to improvise and create newer forms of assessment that helps the client or the sponsor to ensure that the grading of the students or the test candidate is very effectively done. And that has become a challenge. The initial part, when computer-based testing was initiated, was just moving a paper-pencil test into the computer. But today, the demands are far beyond that. And the entire process has been revolutionized by technology. The first and the foremost part we need to understand is there is a process of how an assessment is constructed. The first part is obviously the test development part, which is the most challenging part. You need to have a very reliable, a valid, a flexible, and an absolutely reliable, valid test to be administered to the test candidate. All of these construct the quality of an assessment, and that's very critical for assessing the candidate. All constructs are related to this. For example, the reliability issue is the most easy part to work with. If a student takes an exam today and gets an A score, tomorrow he takes a similar assessment, he should get close to an A score. It can't be a B score, which is very significantly different from the A score. That's where the reliability factor is there. The other part is the fairness part. Very important part is the fairness. Your exam has to be fair to every test candidate who appears. The most common form of testing is that because of the large population that we test on a daily basis, you cannot have that many computers or test administrators to deliver that many exams. So the entire population of tests is broken over multiple days, multiple sessions. Each one cannot be given the same question paper. So it becomes very important that you have question papers which are similar to everybody and is absolutely fair in the entire assessment process. Valid is the objective. What are you testing on? All of that is very critical to create a valid test. Based on all of this, let's look at how future will play out for us. Let's look at the test development part and the future for test development. Currently, if you look at the entire test development process, most test developers have about 27 item types that they work with. Most common that you have heard of is the multiple choice question with a single answer. But now you can create a multiple choice question with multiple answers. You can create fill-in-the-blank questions. You can create fill-in-the-blanks with multiple fill-in-the-blanks options. You can create a drag-and-drop questions. You can create questions. These are the number of developments that has happened already. But what will happen in the future is that there will not be one test that will ensure the assessment of the candidate. It will be a process by which the entire student will go through. So it will not be one test, it will be multiple tests in the process of the learning and the progress that the student makes. The second most important thing that will happen is that technology will give us a lot of options to work with. One of the most common heard requests for test development is that we need a question or a question paper that will help us evaluate a collaborative problem-solving question, which means there are 5 people working in different places to solve a problem. And you need to not only measure the outcome, whether the problem is solved, but also the process of how they collaborate to actually solve the problem. So you will use technology very effectively to do that. And technology will play a very critical role where it comes to questions which are related to sensory and affective part. For example, how does a leader react in a stressful situation? A simulated environment would be given and the leader would probably react to the question that is posed to him. So test development will not only go away from assessment, but technology will play a huge role in ensuring that the test development meets the requirements of the real world. The real world requires real problems to be put to candidates to ensure that they have learnt it very deeply. They can do problem solving. They can ensure that they can do an interpersonal work together to ensure that the problem is solved. All of this will become a part of test development, and it will not be just one test or one certification exam that we will see in the future. The second big thing that will happen is the test delivery process itself. You will not just have people walking to a test center to deliver, but you will have people taking the tests in the comfort of their homes, with ensuring that the computers have the microphone and the camera on so that somebody can watch them, that they are not cheating during the exam. All of this will change the entire way the test delivery happens. Test delivery will also change because you have to collaborate with a number of test takers in different locations simultaneously to ensure that the test is done. The other important thing that will change in the test delivery is the time and the flexibility of taking the test. You can do a part of the test now and leave the rest for the later. All of this will change in the test delivery. But what will radically change is the analytics. Currently, the analytics is at a very, very high level, where you can look at item-wise response of the candidates, you can look at the construct of the question, you can look at geographical distribution of how people answer a particular question. All of that will help get into better assessments, and analytics with the ability of artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of that is collaborating so effectively to create better analytics for creating better assessments in the future. This entire process of test development, test delivery, and analytics is going to change. And in the future, you will have no human interventions in assessments. You will have machines to be assessors. You will have people who will be creating the assessment themselves and delivering the assessments. So this is the future, and I think we should be ready for that in future. Thank you very much.